Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to compare single-family investing versus multifamily investing. We'll only be talking about residential multifamily investing, which is up to 4 units. Anything 5 units and above is considered commercial, so we're not going to touch on commercial investing, just residential investing. Now, before we get started into the comparison, this video is intended for people that are just getting started in real estate investing. So maybe you don't have any property yet, or you just have a couple and you're looking to expand into other areas. This is for you. I'm going to give the pros and the cons for both multifamily and single family investing. And at the end of the video, I'll talk about who may benefit over one kind of investing versus the other. And to give a little bit of background, I own multifamily real estate in Boston. So I'm going to share my thoughts on when it makes sense to invest in multifamily and when it might make sense to invest in single family. Okay, so if you've been researching single family versus multifamily investing, I'm sure you've heard of Meet Kevin and Grant Cardone. Meet Kevin has been very successful with single family real estate. On the other hand, Grant Cardone has also been extremely successful with multifamily and apartment investing real estate. So you may be wondering, if you can be successful in either field, why would you choose one over the other? And that's exactly what I'm going to break down coming up. But first, it's important to know where you fall. Do you have a lot of money right now that you can afford a big down payment? Or are you just getting started and you're looking for a way with a low down payment to get investing in real estate? For me, I started out with a very low down payment, an FHA 3.5% down payment mortgage to start investing in multifamily real estate. So when we get to the comparison of multifamilies, I'll talk a little bit about the pros and the cons of investing in multifamily as your first investment. And definitely make sure to like the video down below, comment where you are in your real estate investing journey, and subscribe if this content is helpful to you. So first, we've got the pros and the cons of single family real estate investing. The first pro of single family investing is a lower down payment. If this is going to be a 100% investment property and you're going to be obtaining the property through an investment loan, then you'll need somewhere between 20 and 25% down payment. And since single family properties are cheaper than multi-families, that 20 to 25% cut will be much lower in a single family property. So if you're looking just to get started and start making some equity and start making some rental income, single family investing can be a lower cost of entry in that scenario. Now, what is a con of single family investing? If you have less than 5 rental properties, when it's vacant, it's 100% vacant. So depending on how long the property is vacant, you'll have to pay for all the expenses out of pocket. And this con can vary from market to market because you may be in a market that's very easy to get renters. Now, one of the huge pros of single family investing is lower turnover rates. This means that people are staying in the property for longer periods of time before they move out and you have to get new tenants. The average turnover rate for single families is about 30%. The reason for this is generally people renting single family properties are families and they don't want to move a lot. So it can be very stable in that sense. And usually the kind of person renting a single family is going to take better care of the property than someone in a multifamily. And this is one of the huge factors that should play into whether or not you do multifamily or you do single family investing. And I'll break this down at the end of the video. And now moving on to another con, lower cash flow. Because you only have one tenant in the property, you're generally going to have a lower cash flow. Of course, this can vary depending on what kind of deal you got on the property. If you got a really good deal, you did a lot of work on the property, you fixed it up, you can have great cash flow, but just looking at the property when you buy it and rent it out, generally single family properties will have a lower cash flow. And now the last pro, more inventory and less competition. See, there are a lot more single families out there than there are multi-families, so you're always gonna have more single family properties to choose from than multifamily. And you're generally competing with first or second time home buyers, and this is where you can get a really good deal if you're looking to fix up a property. See, most home buyers will go into a property and see that it needs paint or some minor work, and they'll just run away from the property even though it just needs a few $1,000s worth of work. A lot of times they're looking for a move-in ready property, a renovated property, or a new build. So this is where you can get a really good deal from going in and putting in some work in the property, increasing the equity that you have in the property from day one, and therefore getting a higher rent and cash on cash return. So you can use this fact to your advantage if you know how to do it. And the last con, it's slower to grow your real estate portfolio. This is just due to the economics of scale. You have less cash flow, so it takes longer to build up another down payment for another property. So that can slow your growth if you don't have a lot of money starting out. Now let's move on to the pros and the cons of multifamily investing. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is where I got started out. And that goes right into the first pro of multifamily investing, the ability to house hack. See, I got started out house hacking. I made a whole video on this topic. So if you'd like to check that out, I'll have a link up above that you can go to and check out. But because you have multiple units, you can live in one unit and rent out the others. This is called house hacking. You have other tenants paying for part of your own housing payment. And many times you can live for free or live for very little out of pocket. And to me, this is a huge pro of multifamily investing. And because it's considered a primary residence because you're living in it, you'll get better loan terms and you can pay a lower down payment, which could be another pro of multifamily investing. You could pay as little as 0 to 3.5% down payment on a multifamily property. I was able to put about $20,000 down on a $500,000 property. However, if it was going to be a 100% investment property, I would have needed about $125,000 down payment. And that goes into one of the major cons, higher cost of entry. Because multifamily properties cost more than single family, obviously you need a higher down payment if you're an investor and only planning to rent it out. You'll need 25% down payment on properties 4 units and below. And you'll also usually need 3, 6, sometimes 12 months of reserve, which is 6 to 12 months of the mortgage payment in your bank account. So for a lot of people, especially starting out, this can be a huge roadblock. And now moving on to the second pro of multifamily investing, lower vacancy. See, when one unit is vacant, you still have 1, 2, or 3 more units that are bringing in cash flow. So you'll be able to more easily handle paying the mortgage payment and other expenses of the property if you have a vacancy for a few weeks. And this goes into the third pro of multifamily investing, higher cash flow. Because you have more units, you have more profit coming into the property. This leads on to the final pro of multifamily investing, which is it's faster to grow your portfolio. This is due to the economics of scale. When you have more properties bringing in money, you're able to invest in more property quicker because you have more profit coming in. So now let's finish up the cons. In multifamilies, you're going to have shorter term tenants. The average turnover rate for multifamilies is 50%. You're generally going to be renting to students or young professionals that are going to be moving on with their lives in a couple of years, so they're less likely to stay longer term. And they're also less likely to take care of the property as well as a single family tenant. And the last con is generally your competition is other investors. And investors are always looking for a good deal, which means you have to be quick when you're buying multifamily. So you have to be looking for deals every single day and make sure you're able to move quickly on a deal that you find. And now another consideration for both single family and multifamily is how the value of the property is calculated. This is something that varies so much from market to market that I couldn't put it as a pro or a con for either, but single families are going to be valued based on the comps of the neighborhood versus multifamilies are going to be valued based on the cap rate of the property. So the amount of profit that you make each month going into how much the property costs comes out to the cap rate. Investors are the ones that are going to be concerned about what the cap rate of the property is. So when they're valuing the property, they're only going based on the amount of rent that's coming in from each unit. The condition and everything else with the property doesn't really matter as much. So that is the pros and the cons of single family versus multifamily investing. And I told you I would give you my thoughts on who I thought it made most sense to invest in one over the other. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So based on the pros and the cons for a single family property, single families can be very good if you have enough money to start investing with the down payment and you're looking for higher quality renters that are going to stay for longer periods of time, leading to a lower turnover rate and less cost for maintaining the property. So if you're just looking to grow your portfolio kind of on the side, then single family investing can be a very powerful investment. And depending on where you are, single family investing may actually make more sense than multifamily investing to grow your real estate portfolio. There are some areas that don't have a lot of multifamilies and it's mostly people renting single families. So in that case, it would make a lot more sense for you probably. On the other hand, if you're in a city or a very populated area, then that might be where a multifamily would make more sense for you. And in my opinion, multifamily investing is the best way to get started in real estate investing because of the fact you can house hack. See, you need a place to live anyways, so why not live in one of your units and have your other tenants take care of the monthly cost of the property? That's what attracted me to multifamily investing to begin with, and that's one of the ways that I am growing my real estate portfolio, by house hacking a couple of multifamilies. And once you start getting enough cash flow, you can start investing into single families or multifamilies with the cash that you have. So at the end of the day, I hope these pros and these cons have helped you decide on which property makes sense for you. This is not something that I can say that single family works every time or multifamily works every time and it will work for you, because everyone's situation, every market is different, as well as your goals for real estate investing may not be the same as others. So you're going to have different motivations, different pros, different cons that are more important to you than someone else. So the purpose of this video was just for you to have all of the information, have my perspective on the pros and the cons for each, and you'll be able to make your own educated decision. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, definitely like the video down below. Leave a comment. What are you working on? Are you investing in multifamilies or are you investing in single families? Which one appeals to you most? Definitely let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this content, definitely subscribe for more content, as I release videos every week on real estate investing and other finance topics. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.